to the second workshop on AI in Education by the Center for STEM AI Education. Today, we're very pleased to have Professor Liu to deliver this workshop. And before we get started, just a quick note. Same as last time, we have provided food and drinks for the workshop. So please feel free to enjoy them anytime during the workshop. Okay? So let me do a brief introduction to Professor Liu. So Professor Liu obtained a PhD in education technology from University of Florida, and her research focuses on generative AI, AI in education, computer science education, and learning analytics. She studies how new technologies help us understand how students learn and behave. Her work supports teachers in making better instructional decisions, and she is also interested in the ethical and practical use of AI in education. So please join me in welcoming Professor Liu.
Okay, so welcome here, and it's a pleasure to meet all these colleagues and all the students here. So today my workshop is about the design AI agent. So at the beginning, this is our overview of the workshop, and this is our overview of this workshop. So we will have some opening questions, and I will give 2 examples about how to develop an AI agent, specifically use some programming skills and with non-programming skills. And finally, we will have Q&A questions. So at the beginning, I never think about what is the AI agent, and what are the differences between the AI agent and chatbot. Have you ever think about that? I think most of you have already seen some papers, literatures that say they have developed some chatbot. But also you may have seen some papers that focus on the AI agent development. So what are the differences between the chatbot and the AI agent? So my question is ChatGPT, these are the AI agent or chatbot.
Does a chatbot have a large language model underlying? Like the AI agent clearly has a large language model underlying it, but chatbots, from my understanding.
So at the beginning, we use iPhone mostly, right? And we do have some chatbot in iPhone at the beginning, right? We can give some requirements, and then iPhone may give us some feedback. But this is not the AI agent actually. So here, these are some differences. So summarized as one sentence is that chatbot cannot do some complicated tasks, while chatbot can just give us some predefined script conversation, which means that we have predefined some conversation, and then when the users give some keywords, like I need to study some material, and the keywords is a material, and then we have predefined what's the meaning of the material and how to give the support when the student see the material. Maybe we give some links or some PDF files. And this is about chatbot. Well, agent, we don't need to give any predefined conversation, and we don't need to predefine any keywords. Okay, and also the AI agent can give us some complicated tasks. So that's the differences between the chatbot and AI agent. So these are the basic rules that we need to design the AI agent specifically for the instructors will also give another example for the student. So here we can think about how to give some support, teaching support for the instructors. Okay, so this is a very general example that we can help the instructors to do some assessment. I know most of you have a lot of working load on the, the essay evaluation, grading, right? When the classroom has a big size, right? So we can develop a specific assessment agent that can help the instructors to reduce the workload. And here is an example. So this is well-developed AI agent from Learning Gene. So later I will open the link here. So you can see that we can just choose the specific grade, weights, and the learning goals, and also the unit description. Then we can automatically generate all the learning context here. And also you will have some guiding questions or some specific learning activities during the classroom. But almost all the AI agent for the teaching support is from the K-12 schools. Okay. So currently, I would like to see we don't have many AI agents for the undergraduate or graduate education. And also we can have some agent for the student, right? We can have some tutoring agent or the feedback agent. So when a student do some mathematics problems, they can ask the agent how to solve the specific problems step by step. And also when the student writes some essays, the student can get some feedback to revise or enhance their writing and writing, something like that. So this is another example from a well-developed agent named Smart School. And in this part, you can see that the student can just solve some mathematical problems, and also the student can ask some specific questions related to this mathematical problem. And the agent will give some feedback and also can help you to check your answer solutions like that. So these are our basic design rules or ideas when you try to design a new AI agent. So all the things that you need to consider. The first thing is about role. So how you want how you want your specific AI agent to perform in a specific role, and what task you expect your AI agent will achieve, and also the input, output, and also some specific constraints, specifically like from some ethical considerations. Okay, so the very interesting that when I consider this the PowerPoint of this workshop, I'm thinking about how should I give some knowledge about AI agents, just a brief introduction, or actually I can introduce some real rules, tools for the development. So finally, I choose the last one, the second one. So I will give some real development examples for you to learn. Okay, so the next part will be a little difficult, yeah, specifically for the programming-based agent. Okay, I will try my best. So have you ever learned Python? Some some of you. Okay, so actually, when we try to develop a new AI agent, we have two ways. The first one is for efficient one. We need to use some programming skills. Specifically, I use Python in the most part because this is very useful. And therefore, for this example, I will just introduce a Python-based writing skill, scoring agent. So these are all the things we need to do. Okay, so these are all the steps. So when you try to have the idea about the AI agent development, you should follow all these steps. I won't cover all of them, but I will pick up some important ones. So the first thing that you need to consider what this system does. So at the beginning, you just have a rough idea that I want to find an AI agent that can help us to grade or evaluate the student academic writing skills. But what about the details? What else you should consider before your actual development? So for example, can we just copy and paste to the agent of the student essays? Okay, and another question, if the student has a very long essay or a very short essay, or the essays in English classroom and mathematics classroom, any differences? Right, so that's all the things we need to consider. And also we need to consider some output things, like we just have one final scores or several subdimensions of the student essays. And also maybe the essays can reflect the student some thinking skills, or we can even give some feedback, the efficient feedback to the student. You should include some specific areas when you do your essay writing. Fine. So that's all the things we need to consider before we actually develop this agent. So you should define the specific mission of your agent first, and also you need to consider all the data input and output format and what you want to get from the agent. This is the data flow. A little complicated. So at the beginning of, as I mentioned before, we should consider the input first. And specifically, you need to consider how many inputs you should have, like this. So very two simple ones, student ID and assignment ID, and also IC test. And this one is prompt. So why this is also important? So when you use like ChatGPT or Cloud, you will see that when you use different prompt, they may give different feedback or response to you, right? So when we develop our personal AI agent, you should also consider the prompt. So for your personal AI agent, how to respond when you have different prompts here. So this is very general data input here, and also we need to have some output here. So you need to define the score structures. You just want to have a final score, or you want to have some trait scores that can reflect the student different dimensions of the student academic writing. And also you want to maybe have the writing level band. So just like else, right? We do have the writing level band, and also we can give some feedback to the student. Therefore, I also need my agent to have some strength and the next step feedback, so that we can give this to the student, right? And the next thing, you need to prepare all your files. So these are all your files you need to prepare. Someone just smelled. Okay, so let me introduce them one by one. So these files are very important when we use programming rules to develop the AI agent. The first is about API and LLM. So most of our AI agents will build on the current open resources LLM, which means that we can just use their database because we have the large training data set, so they will respond more efficiently and accurately. Okay. But we need to API, not just open like the wall or 前问 and input the student essays. We need to API. Why? API is more stable, which means that they may not be affected by our prompt. And then we need to choose a large language model as our base model. And we also need some database, which means that we need to store the student essays and the student IDs and the student all the student information here. And we need some JSON rubric. I will show this example later. And then finally, we do have some time series analysis. So these are all the Python files that you need to prepare, and you can just follow these specific structures. Should I give more details? Or we can just yeah, sure.
Could you run this through like a Python notebook, or like how do you actually run this? Like you run this through?
It depends. If you have a very high computing computers, you can just run in your local computers with a big file. But usually I just upload it to some cloud. Yeah.
Oh, with Office notebook?
Sorry, what?
I mean, your normal Office.
No. The normal Office computer cannot do.
In our lab?
Yeah. In our AI lab, we can use these specific computers to do that. We need to upload. Usually, we need we need to upload all these files as a zip file to some running website. Yeah.
Sorry, which cloud do you use? Do you use one through the university, or is it one that you subscribe to, or?
I personally buy some. Yeah.
Alibaba?
No. Some website from the American. They have lower price actually. So I will give you some.
How low?
What?
How low? Maybe here it's cheaper. Alibaba, we will have a discussion with Alibaba after 2 days. They also mentioned cloud, maybe we can get it free. we'll discuss later.
Yeah, sure. So actually you need to prepare all these files and as a zip file to run somewhere, maybe in your high computing skills computers or some website. And
So our lab is open to use now? For AI lab?
I think,
Yes.
yeah.
The two computers are accessible to all the faculty members, and a few of our colleagues have applied for using it. So, yes.
Thank you.
Right. So if you are interested, you can just, maybe some students are so interested to develop the AI agent. So if you can prepare all the files, maybe I can help some of you to run the things from the files in our AI lab. Okay, and then these are some data model and our entity relationships. So you can see our data flow just like the student submission, submit some essays, and we give the scores, and we do the analytics. So here I will give a specific introduction. So at the beginning, at the beginning, we just have the scores of the student essays. But if we want to have some specific analytics of the student performance, we can add some specific analytics, which we always name as a small model. Have you ever seen that or heard that? We always have the large language model, but we don't have the small language model that can help to enhance the performance of the large language model. And currently, this is a very hot topic in the AI research area, which means that we always combine the large language model with some small language model named 大小模型结合. You may see some research papers that focus on that, which means that we can further enhance the AI agent performance by adding some specific specific language model, small specific models. So, for example, the AI agent, as I say that we need to have some open resources large language model as our base model, right? But the problem is that most training data for these open resources large language model is from the website, newspapers, social medias, right? They don't from the academic writing, right? So that's a very big problem. If we build some agent just based on these open resources models, we cannot have some specific features of the student academic writing, right? So maybe we can add some specific small model that we use the training data from the academic writing, student academic writing, and therefore we can enhance the open resources large language models performance like that. Okay, and also you need to define the role of your AI agent. So usually we just write this prompt in your API, which in your main Python file. And we usually ask the AI agent to generate the JSON file, which is easy to do the further analysis. About how to design this prompt, actually we do have another research topic. Have you ever heard that? Prompt engineering? No? Yes? No? How? Okay, so I have some materials I can share to you later. Okay. So this is about how we can define the prompt. So you should include some important information such as the roles and whether you have specific rubric or specific constraints, and also the specific assay input output. So here I just say we need to have the JSON as the output, so which is easier for our further analysis. So so this is about the structure of our JSON file. This is very easy. Even though this relates some programming things, but this is very simple. You can see the structure here is very clear. For example, we do have some trait scores, and you just define. These are all the examples you should include in your API main file. Okay, which means that you need to define the sample of the output, which can help the large language model learn how to give the output, the specific format, specific structures based on your example. So usually I just define the trait scores and the overall scores, and also we need to have some feedback here. And when you have all the things, you have the input, output, and finally you just need to do some validations. Okay. So the first thing, we usually compare the agent's results to the human graders. And also, we can just follow up some regular reliability validative frameworks. And this is about what I have said, the small model. So we can add more analytic models to enhance the AI agent performance. So we can give more analysis to the student, and also we can give more analysis just based on this output JSON field, which means that you can summarize all the strengths or the weaknesses from your classroom, and then you can improve your personal teaching strategies, and also you can see the trait scores for every student, and you can track the change of the student long-term learning, something like that. And finally, these are some research impact. Any questions?
So we are designer or we are user?
Designer.
Oh, thank you.
Designer. So if some of you are interested about how to develop the agent, you can just follow all the flows and prepare all the required files, as I mentioned before, and try to design the role, the input, output, and the format. And finally, you can just run your file somewhere. Yeah, if you have money to buy some specific service.
Can you clarify the relationship between API and Python code? So I prepare my code in Python and then I input it in API, or I don't know what it looks like.
Oh, sure. So where can I use some pen?
And please feel free to grab some food and drinks. We have hot dog and chicken wings, pasta, and Thai style chicken, and also broccoli beef, and coconut cake.
Some of our clients we have
So we're gonna take a break to grab some food. And there's a table outside kind of door. Some food out there.
How to design these files and how to run these files. So I will give more details about that. So for here, we need to have some for analytics from the model, scheme, and some supporting file. The most important one is main file, which means that we need to include the API here. So in the main file, we do have these structures, the basic input here, and the basic API keys, which means that you need to find some API keys from the large language model website. I will give you some example later. So you need to have the URL here, the website like ChatGPT Cloud, and then you need to have the keys here. These keys like the password, which means that only belongs to you and you cannot share to others. So you need to buy the keys like the credits, which means that how many keys that you can use, how many terms that you can use for this large language model. And then after that, you need to have your basic analytics here. So all the things like when you have your specific baseline large language model, what you want to do, like the prompt we designed later about the agent roles, and also what are the inputs here with like the scores, analytics, prompts, and also the specific output, the format, and also here the models, which means that in your analytics model, what specific models you want to use. So for example, the ChatGPT, we have a series of the different models. The newest one is 5.2 thinking, right? And also we can use like for all the different models. So you need to choose a specific models. So where you need to find your API keys. So I usually not choose a specific large language model because I have different requirements about the model, so I always use this one. Have you ever heard that? Yes. Then you can see that API keys. These are the pricing, so it depends on how many credits you want to have. And these are the models. So in this website, almost all the large language models are included. So you can resources, large language models. So you can just buy some credit kits from this website, and when you use that, you can have the blocks here. So this can help you quickly embed your specific API rules in your main file. So for example, you use different here. So these are the structure how you can just embed the specific large language model in your main file. So you can just copy this code into your main file at the beginning, at the top of the main file. And specifically in these structures, the main file is the most important one. As some students actually, whether we can use the program AI generated codes, programming codes, so that you don't need to do any programming things. But from my personal experience, I saw that the AI generated codes can just for the simple file, but they cannot do the great connections among the complicated files, right? So when you have all these files as a zip file, which means that you need to design the structures and how the different files connect to the others. I think the most useful way is our the human coding. Any questions? Sure. Just after we build such a model, do we need to input a lot of materials to train the model? No, because actually we have already used some open resources large language model as our base model. So you can see they do have so for example, so these are some, for a specific model, they have already used training, and the tokens are the training data set for a specific model here. So you can see each model have different training data set. And the question is that I have seen another topic, large and small model combinations, right? Which means that we need to have some specific training data set for our small model. For example, we want to enhance the large language model performance. So in our main file, the first thing we have some analytics models, and finally we do have some output. And in your main file, you can just like this output as an input in your small model. So you can add some small models here. And like this output from the large language model as an input of your small language model. And these things are the training data set for your small analytics model. Yeah. Any questions? No? Great. So then we can move forward. A very happy section.
No problem.
Okay, so this part is very easier. Okay, so some of you may have questions. If I do not have any programming skills, how I can develop an AI agent? So I will give another example. Specifically, we try to develop a student companion programming agent with COS. Have you ever heard COS? COS? that? Some of you? So these are all the things you need to have in the course website. And then I will show the okay, so this is a website of codes, and you can see that actually in this website you don't need to have any programming skills. You can just drag and drop some specific tools to design your AI agent. And also they have some templates. So for this one, for example, if you want to enhance your aura. So this is else speaking tutor. So this is a developed AI agent, can help to enhance your speaking. Maybe you have some, for example, you have some feedbacks and also AI assistant organizations of the speaking materials. So these are some templates you can just follow up or as a base model, base template of your personal AI agent. So in this website, at the beginning, you need to consider the role of your AI agent. So for example, when we develop the AI agent for the student programming, how we can enhance the student programming skills, and how we can give the timely feedback, and how we can help, for example, the student debugging behaviors, and how to enhance the student mental cognitions, something like that. So this is the first step before you actually design your AI agent. And in codes, actually, this is the workboard from the codes. Actually, you just need to drag and drop some specific tools, and also you can have some external tools. Like you want to use an external database, so you can also make some connections. So these are all the steps when you develop the agent from the code. So basically, the first thing that we just need to create a vote, and you need to specify the description of the roles or the requirements of your AI agent, and then we need to have some plugins or tools, which means that which specific large language model you want to use. Therefore, you can customize your API tools. For example, you just choose some specific models with very big training data set from the Open Router, the previous website, and then you need to connect a specific database, which means that in codes we do have some codes developed database, but also we can use some external database. So you can use this database to store all the information or the materials that for your AI agent. And then you just need to design the workflow. So this is a very important, and I'd like to say the most important step when you design the AI agent in code, because you need to have a clear workflow on how the data be inputted and how the data will be outputted. So you will have a clear structures here. And then you can test the in codes and finally just publish. You can publish in more different ways. For example, you can just publish as a website, so every student can use your developed AI agent. So when you have your descriptions, you should have a clear definition about the agent. So here, for example, I want the agent to be a coach during the student programming activities. So the agent should have some specific skills, feedbacks, and support, something like that. And then you should define the AI, the agent behaviors. So for example, I will have some constraints like you cannot give the actual solutions or the actual answers to the student. You just can give some steps or some middle solutions to the student, something like that. So you need to also you also need to define the agent behaviors, what you should do and what you should not do, like that. And also, you need to design the prompt format and also the response structure. So how the agent responds to your student. So, for example, currently I have some collaborations with other colleagues. We are trying to develop AI agent that can give different questioning strategies to the student, which means that when we have the student-teacher conversation, we give some guiding strategy. So, for example, next step, what you should do, or the checking strategy, check your previous step. Is it correct or not correct? Something like that. So we try to give the different prompt scales to the student. And therefore, the student may have different response based on the different questioning strategies. So here, you should also consider the response structure, how the AI agent you developed to respond to your student. And then we do have some monitoring questions as we try to enhance the students' individual programming activities. So maybe we need to give some examples about the monitoring questions, also the supporting questions, also the like the chatting questions, and also some guiding questions, something like that. So all these questions, all the response structures, you should have the examples to the AI agent. And about the knowledge base, which means that you need to store all the information, all the materials in a big database. So like these are some materials. So for example, the syllabus, which can help the AI agent understand what is the next step, or what I can give to the student for the future learning, something like that. And also the common errors, which can help the AI agent to have the checking questions. So just put some common errors from the database and ask the student to check, do you have these errors or not, like that. And this is a workflow, which is very important step in the code So we need to define all the data flow, conceptual flow, workflow. Yeah. And then we can also get some useful support to the students. For example, we can give some easy tasks, medium tasks, and hard tasks based on the student performance. So these are related to our output. So what output we want to have for the student. And these are the student learning benefits. So any questions?
I have one question. Sure. If we develop the agent on this course website, can a student access,
Yeah.
multiple students
Yeah.
access
Yeah.
the agent? Can their, trace data be stored
Yeah.
in the website?
Yeah.
They don't need to register, do they?
They have to register.
They have to register, and at my point, I can see, at my end, I can see all my students.
Yeah. The conversations and
Yes.
all the login data.
Okay, good, thank you.
But you need to pay some. That's first. Yeah. Yeah.
For the example you just mentioned, we are going to manipulate the study, we are going to manipulate different questioning styles. Like, does it mean like we will design different agents, or is one single agent that is kind of trying different questions?
Yeah. So for example, you can just develop one single agent, and this agent can respond based on the student's questions, and also even based on the student performance. But this is a little complicated as you need to add some small models. So when the agent have for example, the first questions from the student, and the agent will do some quickly analysis in a small model, and then define the student mental condition level, performance level, and then give a specific questioning strategy.
Can you do a demo of a simple process of how you work on codes and create an agent, like a very simple agent?
I don't have the membership of that.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but you can. No, I program it by myself, so I don't use some online. And also the other website is this one. Sorry. This one. Yeah. By the way, honestly, in the codes and this website, actually you can just develop some simple AI agent. As I mentioned before, if I do some questioning strategies based on the student performance, the student response, I need to add some small models. Therefore, I don't use this website. I have to code it by myself. So these are like the flow of how you want your agent to perform. The data input and the output. I think there are some books about how to use this website. You can search from Taobao. Any questions?
So do you recommend teachers in university to develop their own agent for teaching or research purpose?
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. So for example, I will give an example here. So if I use large language model, for example, the ChatGPT, to do the essay assessment for my own classroom, there are some ethical considerations and also the student privacy, right? But if I can develop my personal AI agent, and who knows, right?
So the key concept is all the materials actually storage locally or on the cloud service support. That's why it's more secure.
Yeah.
That's where it comes from in terms of the student data.
Yeah.
What about the codes or DeFi? These are web-based providers. Are our data there safe or secure, or actually we leaked the student data there?
Yeah, that's why you need to pay the money to buy a specific database. So you buy the service.
Okay. So as long as I paid, my data is secure? Is that what you mean?
No, before so if you won't use anymore, you just delete all your data from the cloud.
You mean if I stop using it, then I can ask the service provider to delete my data?
No, you can delete by yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, just from the because you will create a specific database. When your service stops here, the database will eliminate. So you won't see the database anymore.
So in that I am responsible to delete the data that I created, or the service provider will delete it because I stopped paying.
So if you want to stop, you can delete. Otherwise, the provider will automatically delete the database, the whole database for you after stopping your service.
Okay, so either way, it
Yeah.
will
So that's why we need to pay the money to buy our, personal data set.
What do you think it's possible for us to design the program on those online platforms? After we complete this design, we upload or download the whole Python program to local storage or local search, and we run the whole service on the local server. Would it be possible? Or should
I don't think it is possible, especially when you have the user have big size. I don't think it's possible because every run, for example, in our link that every run you need to give the very long examples about the prompt, input and output. So they will take a very long time if you want your local computer.
And since you mentioned those small language model, so for our teachers, we have to design those small language model by ourselves instead of search online. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So, for example, if I want to test on specific area, then I need to specifically create these small language module so that this module can attach to the LLM to further analyze the result to achieve the destination.
So Aries small model, that's a key point in your whole design because you need to have specific algorithms. You can even revise or enhance your small models to have a specific requirements. So for example, if we have the neural network as our small module, we can revise all the neural layers. So this cannot be searched from the website. So you need to develop
So
this.
currently, is there any online AI platform that can facilitate the design process? Or we have to learn the Python coding and design from the zero to start and design wholly by ourselves?
Yeah, for the small models, because I think the current AI coding website cannot make a good connections between the large language model and the small model. Especially you have multiple files and you need to make a good connections among these files. So you need to, I think that the human developed structure will be better to make the connections. So that's my personal experience. Thank you. Sure.
I just noticed that Diffie actually has a free tier, like for educators and students. So that there is a way to use it for free if you're if you verify your university email.
Sure. Sure, great. So some of you may also try them.
Do you have an example of embedding small language models, your own model into the large language model? Kind of, you have a specific brief code to show us the flow.
I do have some ones, but this is in my research paper published. Yeah, but after published, so you can just find some codes from the GitHub. Have you heard that?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, perhaps you can direct us to GitHub,
Yeah, because
it's enormous, right?
Yeah, because when we publish currently for the research paper, if we want to publish some research, we need to upload all the codes as the open resources. Because the reviewer have to check your codes.
Yeah. Or perhaps you can direct us to GitHub to identify somebody else, published one, which has this kind of, combination.
Let me try my best. Sure. Maybe we can have some personal conversations later. So any questions? Any questions?
I want to know, is there a difference between 豆包智能体 and the AI agents we talk about today?
豆包智能体 this is more like you give the prompt in the 豆包 apps, right?
And I have used API and write code, but it doesn't listen to me. It's
Well, it cannot, for example, it cannot have the specific input, like you want to have the essay evaluation, you need to give the student essays, student information, you cannot do that. It seems like that the Doubao performs as what you want based on your prompt. So this is not actually a real agent you developed. It seems like Doubao just perform the role. Yeah, so this is original agent, like just your agent. You want to have different roles, something like that. So this is not real developed agent that can deal with complicated tasks and also the complicated the multiple output.
Okay, I want to ask, how do we measure the validation of the AI agent, and what indicators do you use, or you have have some general indicators.
Sorry, what indicator?
How to measure the validation of the AI agent.
Oh, okay. Usually, the very basic rule is that we compare the human evaluation, for example.
Do you have specific indicators?
So for example, we have the writing assessment agent, and we just compare to the human ratings, and we do some regular reliability, consistency, yeah, something like that. And the other things that is about the traditional analysis method. So for example, currently, as I mentioned before, we are working on the questioning strategy agent, and we try to evaluate the performance of this agent. So we will use some, for example, the traditional machine learning, deep learning methods to uncover the student learning patterns, learning behaviors, and then we do the comparison. Questions?
I'm not sure I'm understanding it correctly, but you're talking about we are doing pre-trained models, large language models, to help us to rate our students' essays. Although we can supply our own rubrics, but largely the AI agent is rating our students' essays or our data based on other criteria that's pre-established. As far as I know, those criteria are quite different from what we are doing humanly in rating our students. And I observe this is what, from the computer science perspective, they are doing this, evaluating our fresh data against some other criteria pre-trained and generate some scores. Obviously, through this, if it is done this way, it will have quite a lot of discrepancies and differences from what we rate based on our own rubrics. So I'm thinking, if that's where our model, our rubrics get into the whole workflow, and if we provided our own rubrics, in what way they will adjust the performance, to make it more accurate.
So the first way that you can just give your specific rubric to your AI agent in your prompt. So this is a strict rubric you have to follow, and you need to follow every point in the rubric, and cannot be give another output that is irrelevant. And the second way is we just call the large language model at the first, and then we add a small model, which we do have the specific training data set from the student academic writing that can help us to retrain the large language model. For example, we retrain the ChatGPT. Then the ChatGPT already have a great performance in the general way, but we give some specific features from our personal training data set, which including a lot of specific academic features of the student writing. And we let the large language model know these are the things you'll need to learn from, we call this fine-tuning strategies. Yeah. So this need you need to have your specific training data set, and also you need to develop this small model, to enhance the large language model performance.
So what's the threshold? How small our own model can be? How small our training data, etc., can be to pass the threshold?
It depends. So there is there is no specific limitation about how small, how big you should have your database. But if you increase the sample size, the accuracy will enhance as well. So it depends. For example, I just have one student. You can also train the large language model, but the accuracy is very low. So, and also we do have different format of the essays. So it actually depends on a lot of features. For example, we do have the long essays. Each essay may have 2,000 words or more. And also we have short essays, just like 100. So we may have different requirements for the training the essay.
Yeah, of course. It also depends on whether your essays are focused on the same topic,
Yeah.
same prompt, or different prompts, right?
Yeah. So based on my personal experience, I think we should have various topics, various format from various student background, the gender differences, the race differences, a lot of differences. The more differences you have, maybe the training data set will be the more complicated. And then we can maybe let the large language model learn more information. Questions?
If students they use AI to write papers and teachers they revise the papers by AI, so how can students get higher scores in the perspective of code? Maybe you have some suggestions for us to get more high five, like some prompts, yeah, something like that.
So maybe I do have some material, but I need to find it. One moment. This is something related how you design your prompt. Yeah, we see this is a prompt engineering. So how you design your prompt. So usually, for example, you need to have the personnel, so the role. So this is related to the proof they just mentioned about the Doubao. Yeah, so act a specific role. So for example, as a professional instructor or as a professional writer, something like that. So first give a specific role, and also the user your role is the audience role, and also the targeting actions. So you need to define the specific target actions, what you want to do. And also you need to have a clear output definition, including the format and also the file and also the all the things. And also the style. Maybe I can share this to you guys later. Yeah. So this is not my research areas. This is really how you can design the prompt. But but usually, from my personal experience, just give the simple or clear definition of all your roles, input, output, format, and the actions will be fine. And the other interesting thing is that for my classroom last semester, so I found some of the students use use a large language model to complete their assignment. But how I can find these cues? Yeah, yeah, one of my students smelled. So how can the instructors find the cues and how the student identify the cues? So, for example, some large language model may have unstable performance in a specific areas. So, for example, the cloud may have the inconsistent performance in calculations. So if you give the same data to the cloud to calculate, for example, the t-test values, the cloud may give you different results based on the same product. Yeah. So that's the current problems of all large language models. That's why we need to have some small models to validate the performance of the large language model. Any questions?
What's the difference between small language models and techniques like RAG or fine-tuning? Could I use RAG or fine-tuning in AI agents instead of building the small language models?
Let me explain the fine-tuning first. So the fine-tuning, the purpose of the fine-tuning is to enhance the large language model performance itself. We don't need to have any external evaluation or external requirements for the large language model. So for the small language model, I will give another example from my personal research. So, for example, I use ChatGPT to generate knowledge graph of a student, but I want to evaluate this knowledge graph can accurately describe the student learning process or not. I will add a small model to evaluate and make sure that this generated knowledge graph is accurately describe the student learning.
Maybe I missed this, but where are the small language models coming from? Are you training them yourself? They're much smaller,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you train your.
So something like you just have the large language model and you add the basic machine learning or deep learning models on that.
But where does the model come from? Can you give me a concrete example of a small language model that you've used, and how you integrated it with a large language model?
Yeah, sure. So just I mentioned that. So for example, I asked ChatGPT. For example, I asked ChatGPT to generate a knowledge graph to describe the student whole learning process this semester, and then I use a specific neural network model to evaluate the LLM-based knowledge graph, which means that the input are all the students' logs, quiz scores, and yeah, something like that. And then I use this neural network to analyze the student learning patterns, learning process, and then we'll compare these tools to evaluate the LLM-based performance.
So how small a corpus of data could you use to make, you said you used just the students' work as a corpus in a small language model.
Yeah. You can obtain the data from your own classroom if the data size is big enough, or you can just from some open resources data set.
So if I wanted to like take all the essays that have been submitted to me for a certain class for the last 3 years, I could use that as a...
Yeah, sure. That can be your personal training data set. Then you can extract all the features from this data set.
Can I incorporate the grades that I gave those essays and the feedback that I gave them as well? Okay.
Yeah. Any questions?